This is Jeanne Kitchens, Chief Technology Services Officer with Credential Engine. Thank you for watching Start Building Your Pathway. We're going to look at getting started with building your pathway. There is another video that will get into more details that you can watch after this one and conclude with additional resources. To begin building your pathway, first you're going to need to log into your Credential Engine account, navigate to the Pathway Builder, select the organization that your account is affiliated with, and then you're going to begin to search the Credential Registry, drag and drop resources onto the board, connect cards, and save your work. And instead of memorizing this list here, what we're going to do is go through some screenshots that will walk through this process. So this is a screenshot of the Credential Registry publishing system. You're going to begin by logging into your account and navigating to the Pathway Builder, which is available from the Tools menu at the top of the publishing system, and you're going to select Pathway Builder. Once you have logged into the system and selected Pathway Builder, the next prompt is going to be to select your organization. If you're affiliated with multiple organizations in the Credential Registry publishing system, each organization will show. Select the organization responsible for publishing the pathway that you will be working on. Once you select your organization, a modal window will automatically appear, and you can see it here on the right of the screen. You will fill out a description of the pathway that you're going to build. With all of the Pathway Builder modal windows, whenever you can enter information, if something is required, you're going to see a red asterisk. If a red asterisk is not there, then it is not required. So you can see here that we can start off by including our pathway name and description, and that is required. But all the other CTDL terms for describing your pathway are not required. However, we always advise to provide additional context so people can have a better understanding of what your pathway is intended for. So for example, if you have a web page where people can learn more about your pathway, you should include that web page. For industry type in the United States are industry codes that are called NAICS codes, or you can just free type in an industry type. This is particularly useful, of course, if the pathway is intended for a specific industry. We would recommend putting all the industry types that apply here by entering them in the industry type text field right here. Keywords are still useful for search and discovery. So you can enter as many keywords as are applicable. You would enter a keyword and then click enter on your keyboard to enter more than one keyword. Occupation types can be ONET or standard occupation codes in the United States, free text or other occupation codes used in other countries. If you're using standard occupation codes or ONET codes in the US, when you start to type those in, they will autofill, so you can just go ahead and select those automatically. Instructional program type can be classification of instructional program codes or free text. It's up to the user to decide when they want to use those types of codes or not, or enter free text. If you do enter classification of instructional program titles or codes, it will automatically begin to fill those in, and you can select the program codes that apply. Subjects work the same way. You can enter one or more subjects by typing in free text. And the bottom half, I'll delve into a little bit more. So when you're describing your pathway, you can include whether or not there are support services that are available to people who are progressing through this pathway. And support services are a type of CTDL class of information that would be entered into the Credential Registry before starting your pathway. And you would use this text box here to begin to type in the name of the support services. And when you see them appear in this box here, then you would click select and it will automatically fill in that support service. And you can select one or more support services. A progression model, if you're going to include a progression model with your pathway, that also needs to be published ahead of creating your pathway in the Pathway Builder. There's a separate video about progression models and publishing them. So once you, if it is applicable and it's not required, if you want to include a progression model, you would publish it first, and then you would put a little check mark adjacent to this pathway contains a progression model, and a search will come up and you'll enter the name of the progression model. It will automatically fill it in and it will append it to the top of your Pathway Builder board. And then you're going to click next to proceed. After filling in your pathway description, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to automatically be presented another modal window. And this window is for searching data in the Credential Registry. And what we're seeing here is an opportunity to filter as well. So at the top of the modal window that comes up, you can either search all resources, or you could filter on different kinds of components like assessment or credential or job, and search only on those types. So you can search all, or you can filter. And you can choose to search for information that only your organization has published, or if you're combining information with information published by other organizations, you would begin to type in other organizations' name here and then search for components that they have published. So there are options for narrowing your search and then selecting resources to build your pathway. And here you can see where the search has brought in credentials, and you would click the plus adjacent to the resources, and it's going to add it to your board. When you're done searching, you just click done adding, and no worries, you don't have to bring everything in from the registry at that when this modal comes up. If you don't want to, it really is optional. You can return to this search from your board at any time. You'll want to get to know the cards in the board. When you're doing a search of the registry, you'll notice as you bring in cards that they will have a label for the type of card, which is a pathway component. They will all have a special icon that's color-coded. And you'll also notice that credentials will always be blue and conditions are always orange. You can click on the question mark on any card, and text will appear to describe what that card, is for. And the text that you see here above each one of these pathway component cards is directly a copy paste from clicking this question mark. So you'll want to get to know the cards because these are pathway components, and you can use any mix of any or all of these cards to build your pathway. Once you have selected data from the registry to start building your pathway, then you're going to be presented another modal window automatically, and it's going to show you, are going to start with a destination. So it's kind of emulating a pathway, and on the far right here in blue, it's showing a destination. So you're going to start building your pathway with the destination. So after you search the registry, the resources that you brought in or the cards that you brought into the left rail under selected have all appeared and are available for you to now drag and drop onto the board. The left rail contains everything from your search for the registry. And if you want to go back to that search, the button to access the search is right here, just above your selected components. But you also have a library of components that are empty, and these are available for you. It's kind of an unlimited supply of components here that you can drag and drop onto the board and fill in. So these are empty containers, they're blank, and you have to fill them in, versus when you get data from the registry, all the data in the registry is automatically linked to your component card, and you're dragging and dropping a pre-filled card onto the board. And you can also collapse this left rail to move it out of your way. There's a double arrow toward the top of it. If you click it, it will collapse it. If you click it again, it will open it. As I said, you can return to the registry search at any time. The search, all of the searches will always be located on the left rail, just above your selected and component libraries. As you're building your pathway, if you need any help, you can always hit the help icon located in the header. The pathway guidance and instruction documentation is all linked here. There's Google Slides linked here. There's these videos linked here, and over time, additional help will be made available here as well. The Pathway Builder is a drag and drop interface. So once you have searched the registry, your selected resources are available, and your component library is always there available to you. And what you do is you just grab the card from the left rail and you drag it onto the board and place it. So here you're seeing a screenshot of the board where a credential has been dragged onto the board under the destination component. And I can tell that this is a pre-filled resource that came from the registry. And these three cards here, the 2 courses and the assessment, came from the component library. And I know that because they're outlined in red, letting me know that they're empty and I need to fill them in. Once I fill them in, the red border will disappear. Now, once I've laid out my cards on the board, I can start using connectors to link those cards together. A pathway is required to have connectors, and those connectors are going to go left to right toward the destination component. So it is possible to have cards with that, for example, you may have a pathway where there's some cards that won't link from here on the left, but they will always link to the destination. So the connector is connected by clicking the orange dot of the parent card or the card on the left, and then clicking the orange dot on the card on the right, and your arrow will automatically appear. To remove an arrow, you would click this little icon here and click the X to remove it. As you're working on your pathway, save. It will automatically save approximately every 5 minutes. But if you're like me and you want to make sure you don't lose any work, you're going to save your work frequently. And that is an intro to getting started with building your pathway. There are numerous additional resources available to you from the Pathway Builder Tool webpage on the Credential Engine website. And as I noted, from the help within the Pathway Builder Tool. Thank you for watching this video.